Thanks, Rinji. Hey guys, what's going on? It is your boy, Big Blue Drew 97 here, coming at you with another manga review for My Hero Academia, manga chapter 288, titled Rescue Takeo-san. And before we get into the chapter, I'd like to thank Rinji17 GoRoeGo for the intro that you saw before this review. It's very beautiful. I really love it. You should go check him out on his YouTube channel. Links down below. And now, without the way, also I'd like to ask y'all to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Big Blue Drew 97, as leave a like and a comment, as well as subscribe to Rinji17 GoRoeGo for the wonderful intro. Now, with all of that jazz out the way, let's get started on this review. This chapter of My Hero Academia starts off in a very interesting way, as we see this helicopter, this plane, this whatever it is, most likely a flying ship, as I may have brought up in the spoilers, is flying in the air, and then you have these little like doodads in it, as we have the pilot talking to a particular individual and how they're arriving in their destination within a few minutes, and as these people are talking about the possibilities of where Hawks and Mirko is, you have the pilot who is telling this other person to sit down because they are still recovering from their injuries, but this person's like, he can't really sit down, he can't do any of this, people are getting hurt, he has to get there as soon as possible to help. Now, who could this person possibly be? I mean, it's not like these things in the background could be some form of textile, string, yarn, but I mean, come on, who could? It's Best Jeanist. Best Jeanist is most likely alive. It doesn't explicitly say this. This could be even a translation error because I'm doing it from the scanlations before the official release is out. But having a hard look in the background, they look like those things that you see thread on when you're sewing, or like the big textile machines. That's what it looks like in the background. And because he brings up basically that he can't just sit by and that he's recovering from his injuries, most likely what it is inferring is that this is Best Jeanist. He is coming into the fight and he's gonna go and rescue people, which in reality, it makes sense because we were always on the fence on whether or not Hawks actually killed Best Jeanist, and we were never sure if Hawks actually killed him, but we did see a body of Best Jeanist. But something that I just thought of, maybe that was like a fake doppelganger body, or even, probably, this would be cool if this was the case, a dummy made out of string or yarn or fabric in a way that is precisely looks like Best Jeanist, because he probably would have the ability to do so. And while people thought that he was dead and missing, he was recovering this entire time. And it also just makes sense to have Best Jeanist be in this situation to help be the most optimal person to rescue people, because I know, like, this may seem weird to a lot of people, but like, people wear clothing. And like, Best Jeanist has the ability to control the fabric, and we've seen like how he was fighting the original All for One, how he was able to pull all the heroes back within an instant by like just using their clothing. So it would make sense for him to be in the situation to be able to rescue a whole lot of people by being able to control the string or the yarn or the fabric within a certain amount of area to get them out of the way of Gigantamachia's reign, meaning that maybe not as many people are going to die in this fight as we may think, but there's going to be a lot more death probably in this fight than it was between All Might and All for One. So I think this is what this is inferring about that, meaning that a lot of people will survive, but still a lot of people are going to get hurt, and that Best Jeanist is alive, meaning that Hawks didn't kill him. So from here, we basically get like a few pages of these heroes running through the city, talking about how much destruction Gigantomachia is, how durable he is, how fast he is, and how like there's gonna reach a point where like he's gonna be too fast for the heroes to catch up. But even so, their job as heroes is to rescue people, and that the reason why all of these people are in danger is because of the heroes. So they have to do their finest to rescue everyone to the best of their abilities, to try and save everyone, and like make sure that their lives aren't just snuffed out or ruined because of the flaws that the heroes had by sending all of the heroes in one location. Basically, to sum it up, the heroes are trying to save people. Gigantomachia is destroying the city. He's too fast, so they're like, no matter what happens, we have to save the people. And while this is all happening, we cut over to the back of Gigantomachia, where we see Skeptic and the rest of the original League of Villains, and how Skeptic has hacked into a satellite to basically like show like the heroes are trying to catch up, and that by looking at where the heroes are, that the villains can make a plan to try and like counteract that, specifically Dobby. And something interesting that they have with these translations is that you have Compress, who is like, wow, you can hack into a computer? Wow. Well, not computer, you can hack into a satellite and like see videos from it? Wow, that's really cool. And Skeptic just chimes in like, yo, this is basic. Like, how old are you? And that makes me think, yeah, how old is Compress? Because he also makes like another comment, like I said, this may be translation issues, but he makes a comment later on in this chapter about how Toga is clinging to him. It's like, oh, don't cling to an old man like me, like this young girl. So I'm wondering, how old is Compress? Like, he seems like he may be in his 30s, but he could be in his 50s. We're not sure. So that's just something interesting. But like, yeah, we have the villains looking at the heroes, and Compress like observes something. He's like, huh, wait, zoom in there, like zoom in on that group. And by him zooming in, we see Ochaco and Froppy, and this sends Toga into like a rage, into a craze, asking Compress to hand me my stuff, hand me my equipment, which he complies, which is where we also get the line of like how he's like, yo, don't cling to an old man like this. So, and then while Toga has all of her weapons on her, she has her equipment, she plans on setting off to go and find Ochaco and Froppy. And Compress tries to stop her, but unfortunately, it's not really like that. Like, he can't really stop Toga, because Toga's like, yo, I have to ask them these questions. I have to know this. With all these ideas swirling in my mind after what happened with Twice, I have to go help them. And Compress is like, no, you can't do that. You'll get hurt. What happens if you get caught? Come on, Dobby, back me up. And Dobby's like, I don't care. Dobby is just so freaking like nonchalant. I was like, I don't care. Like, it's not my problem. And while all of this is happening, you also have Spinner, who also chimes in and tells Toga that she's not the only one suffering after Twice's death, that they're all feeling it in one way or another, and that when it comes to their ideas of Shigaraki believes that people should do whatever they want. So he's not going to stop Toga, but because there's somewhat of this family bond between them, he's like, yo, you can do whatever you want. Just make sure you come back to us, because I'm pretty sure Shigaraki wants us all together. And as he says this, you have pretty much like everyone like sort of smiling. We don't see the expression on Compress's face because obviously mask, but you have Dobby who's smiling, Spinner is concerned, and then you have Toga who's also smiling. And this is just a very cool and impactful scene because it shows that even though that they're villains, they still have a form of camaraderie between them. And that's just amazing because it shows that the villains are people too, which, you know, is kind of the question that Toga wants to ask Ochaco, which is why she's leaving. So it's just a cool point to really like leave them on about how even though they're villains, they still care for each other. And then from here, we cut over to Ochaco, who sees Gigantomachia coming their way as she is trying to evacuate the citizens in this area as quickly as possible. You have Froppy, who got people trapped in the building, and Ochaco is trying to get everyone out of the way. But then she sees flying debris coming at her, and as swiftly as she possibly can, not only does she help rescue the civilians that were in the building that is now crushed, but she was able to get Froppy out of the way, showing how fast she's able to use that string on her arm. But then we have this old lady on the ground who's like asking for help. She's like, oh my gosh, somebody help me. Oh, somebody help me. My husband is trapped over there. He's asleep. He's trapped. Someone help me. And Ochaco sees this and realizes, yo, Gigantomachia is getting close. But My job is to save people. So she tells Roppy to leave. She goes with this old lady to try and like help her husband. And we get this her thoughts about how she has to save as many people as she possibly can. And you have this old lady's like saying, Takeo-san! Oh, you gotta help me. And Ochaco's looking at the lady, like, yo, you got some strong legs, you fast. She's like, yeah, I'm fast because of my love for Takeo-san. And then you have Ochaco who thinks about this, like, yeah, we gotta save him. Most likely thinking about how the fact that she loves Deku and how her love for Deku has made her stronger as a hero. How, like, she was able to grow and evolve because of her love for Deku. And she probably sees this in this old lady. And to no one's surprise, this old lady turns into Toga. And obviously she is nude because that's how a quirk works. And you know what? Ochaco was surprised, which, you know, makes sense because a naked lady just appears in front of anyone. Like, your first expression isn't going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. It's going to be like, what? So, yeah, she is shocked. Toga gets away. Ochaco chases her into this abandoned building where she's thinking, like, yo, where is she? As you have Toga who's monologuing about how she wanted to talk with Tsuyu because she's cute. She wants to talk to Izuku because he looks cool when he has broken bones. And she also wants to talk to Ochaco because she likes her and thinks she's cute too. And she begins to ask Ochaco this question as she pounces on her, pins her to the ground with her knife, and she questions her about what she wants to do with her. What does Ochaco want to do with Toga? Toga asks Ochaco this, and Ochaco is pissed. She's like, wait, you just wanted to ask me that? Like, you took an old lady's blood. Did you kill the old lady? And you have Toga's like, what do you mean? And then you have Ochaco's like, look, I'm gonna save as many people as I can. If you get in my way, Toga, I will not second guess myself. I will arrest you right here, right now, as the chapter ends. So, this chapter is a setup chapter, once again, for the fight between Toga and Ochaco. And let me just say this. It was a really enjoyable chapter. And I will say it never really reached the hype as the previous chapters have been, because we've been focusing on Deku and Shigaraki, been focusing on their fight, and been focusing on the conflict between One for All and All for One. But I still thought that this was a really good chapter, at least for a set of chapter between Toga and Ochaco, because we get to see Toga and how she's still like distraught. She's still messed up from Twice's death, and she just needs this confirmation of like what she's doing and whether or not she should continue with this, as well as we get to see the camaraderie between the League of Villains and Toga, showing that they aren't just villains, they aren't just acquaintances, they can be considered family and friends, and how they understand her feeling as well. So I enjoyed that setup in this chapter, just giving her more character growth and development, showing that character development and growth isn't just for the protagonists and their friends, it's also for their antagonists and the villains. So it's great to see that, as well as we get to see some growth of Ochaco, because if you remember correctly, Ochaco always wanted to be a hero to get money, to get rich, to be like have money to like take care of her family. But something interesting is that the last page of this chapter, she has a flashback of Night Eye, showing that her thought process has changed. Now she wants to save as many people as she can, in a similar vein to Deku, also showing the influences that Deku has had on her. And even what is cool is that she wants to save people more than she really wants to stop Toga. And the only reason why she would stop her now is because she's in the way of preventing her from saving people, which just shows even more growth and even shows the complexities of a hero. Just because you're facing a villain doesn't mean that you have to take down that villain as soon as possible. The main goal of heroes is to save people. And if it means letting a villain go, if it means saving 2 or 3 or even 1 person, then most likely the hero will let the villain go if it means saving that 1 person. Even if that villain goes and kills multiple people, it's in the moment and in the now. And in the now, she wants to save as many people as possible, and Toga is in the way. So this leads to the conflict between them, and most likely will lead to a battle of Ochaco versus Toga, which I can't wait to see. As well as the beginning of this chapter was very interesting, as it may be foreshadowing how Best Jeanist may still be alive, and how he may be able to save a whole lot of people, preventing a whole lot of casualties from occurring. People are still gonna die. People have died. Both heroes, a villain, and civilians are going to die, but Best Jeanist may like minimize like how many people will die as well as get injured, and I can't wait to see like, and it may also just show like how powerful this fabric quirk is that he has, to a point where like he may be able to like control fabrics of like thousands upon people at a time, lifting them up in the air. And then you have All For One saying like how like weak that quirk is, and that it's only been as strong as it is because of Best Jeanist. We'll get to see like how much his training actually factors into how many people he can save. So I can't wait to see that. So all in all, really did enjoy this chapter. Hopefully you enjoyed it as well. Hopefully you enjoyed this review. If you did, leave a like on this video. Leave a comment down below on what you think is going to be happening next chapter. Do you think that we're going to actually see the fight between Ochaco and Toga, or will we cut to something else? Leave your thoughts down below. Subscribe to my channel. Once again, thank you Rinji17 GoRoeGo for the intro. I will be using it regularly. Hopefully I will put his YouTube channel down in the description. Go subscribe to him, like his videos, do all of that cool jazz, and I will catch you in the next video. Goodbye for now.